Today for Felixstowe TV we've got quite an interesting little challenge. I've been told by a personal friend of mine, Chris Holcoop, who is a national treasure, that he has found something very unusual. So we're going to go on an adventure basically with Chris, and we shall see what he has seen, I hope, as long as it hasn't been disturbed. I'm going to call this little story Faces from the Past, and basically we're off to church. Well, that's a little bit of a clue to where we are now, and our guide for the day is young Christopher, and he's going to show us some faces from the past in a very short while.
What do you think we should, Clive? It says they're dangerous cliffs. Do not dig nor climb the cliffs.
Well, you're not a child. We shall be very careful.
We'll see how we go.
Okay then, let's get on. Now, I said to you in our earlier little bit of a chat that I was going to visit the church. So I'm just now looking over the church, and as you can see, the Church of St. Peter is well, under the water, because we are in Dunwich, and this is what the town of Dunwich looks like, and we're at the top of the cliffs looking across a fantastic East Anglian shoreline with no buildings. They are all under the sea, but there are some old friends here who I will be showing you in a very short time. Now, with our little expedition here, as I say, I have local celebrity windmill Chris and Christopher. Tell us a bit more about this wonderful place.
Well, they do say when the wind and the tide is in exactly the right place, you can hear the church bells of Dunwich ringing under the water. But I suspect that's a slight exaggeration. But the man who knows most about that is the famous diver Stuart Bacon, who has spent many years of his life walking the streets of Dunwich and knows Dunwich better than anybody.
Okay, now we've looked at the fabulous town of Dunwich, and now I'm going to hand the camera to Christopher to show us a couple of the inhabitants of the old Dunwich village. So over to you, Chris.
This is the site of the last church in Dunwich, which finally went into the sea in about 1901, and there's very little left, but what's happening is the sea is now eroding the cliffs through the graveyard, and we'll now have a look at one of the oldest inhabitants of Dunwich. You see the skull there with teeth gradually coming out of the cliff. And as the cliff erodes, it'll be washed down and eventually be lost into the sea. Rather sad, really. As you can see, there are two skulls here, and also part of a femur.
Looking at him from a different angle, from the very top of the cliffs here, and I wonder what things have passed that hollow face. Whether or not a Messerschmitt has flown past, whether or not he's seen a sailing ship sink. What on earth has gone on in front of these old bones? We hope that he had a full life, and that his lady wife lying by the side of him were both wonderfully happy in their lives. And we are going to now cover him over and hopefully keep him to stay here a little bit longer. We've completely and utterly recovered those lost souls. We've covered them over so they last a little bit longer where they rest, so the world can wait for them to reappear another day. They won't be attacked by foxes or any sort of scavenging animals, and they will not fall into the sea yet. They are here for a little bit longer, we hope. God rest their souls. This wonderful barren landscape. What a fantastic vista this place is, unspoilt, nobody on the beach. It's a really awe-inspiring sight to see the new with the old.